This week we sold our house, and the weird thing is, we're actually not buying another one. Technically we're homeless, but we're leaving the UK, and probably not for the reasons that you might think. Right now the UK is on its knees. Riots, racism, redundancies and economic collapse. And I'm not going to pretend that I know the ins and outs of exactly what's going on at the higher level. And I can actually understand at this point why people want to leave the UK. But we're moving to Spain, and it was nothing really to do with the recent things that have happened. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you live in the UK, moving to a different country shouldn't be about escaping. Because all in all, the UK in general is a lot better than others. Sure, there's corruption and all the things that I just listed. So it's not about escaping a terrible life. It's more about living the actual only life that you have. And since I said that I was leaving the UK, a lot of people have asked me how I did it. So if you've ever been considering going out on a whim, or you feel as if it's too much of a risk to do so, then I'm hoping this video will help give you a bit of perspective. So like in my other video, this is actually one of the topics that me and James discussed on the podcast. He moved to Australia years ago and hasn't came back. First, I'm going to cut to a short clip of the podcast where we spoke about this, and then give you some closing thoughts. And I always forget, before we get into this, if you're new, you're enjoying the content, I'm trying to be quite consistent with YouTube because I enjoy creating a bit longer form content. Subscribe, like the video, helps more than you realise. So let's get into it.
The thing you said about ego, actually, right? And about being better than other people. This is where I think America, I saw something, George Mack, Chris Williamson, where although the UK produces people of the same level of intelligence as America, we have 5 times less entrepreneurs. And it's because of our mindset surrounding, almost in the UK, we're led to believe that success is like a zero-sum game, where if you're gaining, other people are losing. If money's going in your pocket, it's because you're robbing other people. Whereas in America, they go, I'm going to start a successful business so I can hire people, so I can pay people's pensions, so I can provide for people. You know, like in the UK, there's almost like a negative connotation to success, especially if you go above and beyond. You know, like you say there, you even say, I've got to be better than other people. Yes, but the byproduct of that is that your partner can live better, maybe leave her job, that your kids can grow up, that you can live in Spain, that you can hire people, whether it's a contractor on Upwork that lives in Uzbekistan or whether or not it's your cousin who's a graphic designer. We in the UK have this really weird way where we are so oblivious to the people that we help in the pursuit of business, and we purely see profiteering as like evil. Whereas even with the money you make, half of it's going back into the government. It's crazy that people still think you need to be egotistical to be successful when it's actually one of the most selfless endeavors you could really have. Because you'll be lucky to take home 20% of that money you actually make. The rest goes to other people, to the government, back into the system. Like, we're really bad at entrepreneurial ambitions in the UK.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that's why a lot of people are leaving, which is my next point was really just about the fact that like there's a lot of people that I know, and I don't know if I'm just, you know how they say like is it recency bias? So like, you know how when you like a car and then you've never seen it and then all of a sudden you see it all the time. I don't know if it's called that or not. It's almost like I now see so many people moving away, and even when I posted about it, everyone was asking me how I done it and what visa I went through and whatever else. And I don't know if it is a thing. I don't know the stats, but it's interesting I don't know if people are leaving because they're getting sick of like the kind of control that obviously the UK has, and you make a certain amount and then how much you have to give away, and then it's almost like they keep you at a certain level.
So Durren is looking to potentially move. He's been in the same flat for like 2.5 years. And it's been great for him where he lives, but I can see he's experiencing like a bit of angst with moving. So me and my business partner, James, from the academy, we've been proactively looking at places for him. So we're looking around where he lives, Wandsworth, Clapham, and £4,000 a month doesn't go very far. And I'm like, fucking hell, mate. Like I don't know if it's just because I've been out of the game for a while, but I was even looking like £2,500 doesn't go very far in London. Like, no offense, you live in a bit of a shithole for £2,500. So I was like, I said to him, if you're going to spend £4,000 a month on your rent, you need to earn £8,000 a month to be able to afford that. I'm like, that's £80,000 a year just for where you live, car finance, car insurance, petrol, coffee, food, all of this. So then I was trying to get in Durren's head about moving out further outside London. And so I looked at West London, Southwest London. I looked at Kent, Surrey. Then I looked at Manchester. Then I looked at the Cotswolds. Then I removed so far away. And the UK is fucking expensive. Like, and I make good money, and it was eye-watering for me. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know if it's just been a while. I don't know if it's inflation, whatever it is. But the main thing is, it's not that you're just paying £4,000 a month to live somewhere. It's what are you getting for that? And that's where I think the issue is. It's not even the cost, it's the value. And me and my business partner, again, James, we're both Brits. We actually started off in Sydney, near Sydney, Harbour Bridge, near the Opera House, near Bondi Beach. But then it gets to a point where, again, ego, finances, whatever, it makes sense for us to take a step back and actually to remove ourselves from that place we want to live to do something where we get better value. Now, I live about an hour and a quarter away from where I used to live, but I live in a place that is congruent with business, productivity. This is a spare room that I'm recording from right now. If my ego and my inability to not move from where I wanted to live, I'd probably be doing this in my bedroom, or I'd be doing it in the front room, or I'd still have a flatmate. It's very difficult for people to remove themselves from the area they're in, even if it's going to be better for them. So for me, in my mind, I said, right, I'm going to move further away. I'm going to live somewhere that's cheaper. I'm going to buy or I'm going to get a facility to build a gym in and an office and all of this. And I am really far away and much further away from other people, but it serves my day-to-day life better. And I think that so many people find it really difficult to put their day-to-day life first in front of everything else. Proximity to family, proximity to their profession, whatever it is. But moving overseas for me, like in Australia, although you are really, really far away, I'm probably 75 meters from the beach, and I don't spend a huge amount. My rent or my mortgage here a month is just over £2,200, which is pretty sensible considering that I'm a homeowner. I've only had my house a year or whatever. I get so much value for that. And that's what is great. Similar to probably your setup in Spain. Not just cost, but value. For that amount of money in London, I'd be unhappy. That amount of money here, I'm very happy. If I was to go live on a farm in buttfuck nowhere, it would probably be even more difficult to stay in touch with people. But again, it's that value proposition. So I think a lot of people in the UK are like, cool, I've got to spend this much in rent or this much on my mortgage. London isn't very safe. Decriminalize getting your phone nicked. You've got a lot of political issues happening. You've got, not the best weather, which even Brits are so hard-nosed to the fact that weather impacts your mood a tremendous amount. So, I think people are just getting to the point where they go, we're not getting a good deal. If the economy was great, fair enough. But the majority, the main thing that's propping up the UK's economic success is London. And if you're not in London earning money from the city, you're pretty much in a recession. And, if there's like this big, moody period of low economic thresholds that's in front of us, you might as well situate you somewhere with a bit of sun, bit of nice weather. Whereabouts in Spain is it that you've gone to?
It's about 20 minutes from Marbella. I didn't choose Marbella because, we've got kids, but I went into Marbella to meet another coach that I knew, and I just felt it straight away. I felt like I was in Tenerife a little bit. Do you know what I mean though? I felt like I was in where there was Lamborghinis cutting about, and there was and then I just felt that comparison. Whereas the place where I am, it's nice, and it's not as if there's not nice houses, but I got rid of my car, so I got rid of a nice car just before we left. I now don't have a car. I get the train into, I noticed you'd ride the skateboard or whatever, I get the train into town, and before, for me, I thought that was a step backwards, but in all honesty, it's actually a step forwards mentally, because I'm then not then looking at other people thinking I need that. We will get a car when we go, but I don't care what it is. I don't care what badge is on it. As long as it serves the family in terms of it can fit a double buggy in the back and all that sort of stuff, I genuinely don't care. And I think that's something that has been a massive thing for me, because whenever I had the gym and I got like I bought the car and I had the Mercedes, and like I felt like I know now looking back on it, I was doing that not because I loved the car, it was a nice car, but I was doing it because I wanted to prove that I was successful and whatever. Like, and I think that's so ingrained into everyone, whether they know it subconsciously or not. And it's definitely something that I feel as if a lot of people are stuck in.
Yeah, that's definitely British culture as well, for sure. But yeah, the same where I live now in Australia, but they're not chavs, they call them Bogans. So you imagine a Bogan as mullet, goes fishing, drinks mid-strength beers, lives in high vis and has dirty boots and drives a pickup. That's the Bogan in Australia. And I'm living pretty close proximity to all the Bogans, but they don't care. They're like, yeah, nice car, mate. But they're not bothered. They're like, they're pretty chilled. And it's the wrong word to use, but there's the culture here. It's not unambitious. It's just London in the UK is so ambitious, so hustle mentality, to the point that people are actually being fake about the amount of progress they're making. They're renting cars, pretending they're bought them outright. When you get here, people are like, oh, slow down, mate. Enjoy yourself. Weather's nice. Oh, should we do this and start this project? Oh, we can have a few mid-strength beers and go sit by the beach, go fishing. I like that. And when I got here, that slower pace of life, I was like, oh, this is better. I'd rather work really hard for 4 hours a day every day than burn out, fly to Europe, spend loads of money in Mykonos, come back to the grind. Not to mention the drug culture in the UK as well. A lot of beer, cocaine, go out, drug. Mate, Australia, there's no good drugs. When I got here, it's $300 a gram, so £150 for a gram, and it's terrible. So you go out on a night out, you make one bad decision and call the dealer. It's £150. You get it. You're like, that's not cocaine. Then they have sniffer dogs that come into pubs. So you're sat in a pub, sniffer dogs straight in, police sniffing around all the tables. If you've got it on you, if you haven't got a permanent visa, boom, that's you, court date, deportation. They sit outside pubs in cars, waiting for you to get in a dealer's car. If you get back out, put the lights on, pull you over, boom, deportation. So when I got here, like, even if I wanted to be a party boy, you can't party here. The nearest place to travel to is 6 hours away on a plane. Bali's 6 hours from here, right? The nightlife is terrible. The clubs, when I got here, had a lockout law. You couldn't get in anywhere after midnight. You weren't allowed shots after 11. And I fucking loved it. I loved it. I removed myself from like all that kind of like hustle mentality. Yeah. And then here you're like forced to chill. And Joe, I did a video the other day where I was like, the taxes here are fucked. The people aren't that ambitious. There's no connections. People never come via here. You're so far away from everything. The nightlife is terrible. You can't get any good drugs, all of this. And then I'm like, and I fucking love it. And because of that reason, it, like you say, it makes everyday life just that bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely really, because I do think that everyone that lives in the UK, every time I'd said about moving and going somewhere, they'd said, oh, that must be scary. But for me, it's been an itch I couldn't scratch. And then we got married, had kids, and it still never went away. And for me, the scary part is waking up 40, 50, 60 years old and being like, fuck, I just wish I'd done that. And that's why I'm just like, obviously I'm quite impulsive anyway, but it wasn't an impulse. It's been sitting there for so long. And to me, the risky part was just continuing the way that I was going here. And it's definitely something that, like, if people have that itch, like, I would go for it.
Now, I know this is predominantly a fitness channel, and this isn't necessarily related to fitness, but it's all super linked. Self-development, relationship with yourself, relationship with food, and to be perfectly honest, progress. So regardless of where you live right now, the circumstances that you're in, if you're not trapped with fighter jets flying over your head, to me, I got a wee bit of kickback in a video when I posted something similar to this. The risk is not taking the risk and then living, regretting not doing it. As I said at the start, regardless of your religious beliefs, we're here once. So scratch the itch. Nothing worth doing is easy. The process of moving somewhere is not easy. But what's also not easy is if you're struggling with the circumstances that you've got right now in really any area, is coming to terms with that and regretting it later on in life. But don't worry, fitness, recipes, etc. are not going anywhere. Got a few really helpful videos that I've planned out. So feel free, depending on when you're watching this, to go and check them out somewhere around this video. Or if you want some actual direct help with this, you can join the waiting list or potentially even just join my app or a challenge, depending on when you're watching this, when it's released or down the line. It's all below. I actually wrote this idea for this video on the train yesterday on my way back from town. And the world of online coaching is extremely expensive. But what I will tell you is that train ticket with just a little bit extra is what it's going to cost you per week. But if you're not ready yet and you want to stick with the free stuff and you made it this far, all I ask is to like the video, helps the algorithm, subscribe. There's also some free stuff down below. Hopefully you took value from this. You tend to attract negative comments rather than positive whenever you've got a strong opinion on something. But that's just it. That's my opinion. Not everyone's going to agree with it. It's my experience. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.